Everyone, my name is Chris Johnson, Regional Director here at Atomic Jolt. Prior to working for Atomic Jolt, I worked for Instructure for just over 6 years and looking forward to showing you how Atomic Assessments compares to what's available in Canvas. If you haven't been following Atomic Jolt, just to give you a quick overview, we've been uh, partners with Instructure and Canvas for quite some time, and also, I will say that we've got over 20 years of experience in education, so we know our stuff. What we're looking to do is extend atomic assessments. Excuse me. What we're looking to do is extend the Canvas capabilities through formative and summative assessments with atomic assessments. And specifically, I'm going to show you how you can use atomic assessments to prepare your students for the NCLEX assessment. We have partners all across the globe with K-12 institutions, higher ed institutions, and even some corporate clients as well. And we offer a variety of products. This webinar's focus is atomic assessments, but we also have tools like Atomic Search, which allows you to search across the entire LMS to find learning content, and some engagement tools, what we call our Atomic Socialize apps, that allows for polling, journals, and discussions. We also offer solutions. So if ever you need to help, or if ever you need help building your curriculum, or if you want to create custom solutions that help extend the capability of Canvas, we can help you there as well. But as I mentioned, this is focused on atomic assessments, and there are two ways that atomic assessments really enhance Canvas. One is through interactive courseware that allows you to embed assessments anywhere within Canvas. And then if you're looking to prepare for your students for that NCLEX exam, we also offer high stakes testing within Canvas as well. So we're going to look at both of those approaches from both the student experience and from the faculty's experience as well. And let's just take a minute to talk a little bit about why people come to Atomic Jolt to enhance their assessment capabilities. One, Canvas quizzes works great for some subject matters, but there are some subject matters that lend itself to or that require more authentic assessments or additional item types. And so Atomic Assessments offers all of the question types required by the NCLEX exam and question types that lend itself for things like STEM, subject matters, legal, English, extends the assessment capability to all subject matters. Focusing on nursing, we offer through an LTI 1.3 a application that offers all question types, but it also allows, or excuse me, it also includes question types for bow tie type question, your highlight text question types, some of these question types that aren't currently available in Canvas old quizzes, or excuse me, classic quizzes or new quizzes. Beyond that, we also have an 85 item question type. So if you were to move forward with atomic assessments, you don't have to build your questions from scratch. You can easily import those from Canvas quizzes and utilize our 85 item question type to start hitting the ground running with your students and ensuring that they're prepared for that NCLEX exam. All right, so let's take a look at how you can do this in atomic assessments. And I'd like to start with the student experience. So here I have Chris, student, and he's looking to take this nursing exam and wants to be better prepared for the NCLEX exam. Now, when I worked for Instructure, I saw a lot of learning pages look similar to this, where you're given a lot of information, but it's more of just that sit and get approach. But in this case, the faculty or my professor decided to enhance this question or enhance this page and embed a question directly into it to get me ready for that NCLEX exam. So here, rather than just reading about the NCLEX exam, I can start taking practice questions. This is an example of the case study question type where I can read the nurse's notes, I can look at laboratory results in the plan of care, and then answer the question accordingly. I also can do the same thing with these case study question types, but instead of having those multiple choice questions, I can now be exposed to those bow tie type questions where I choose the actions to take, the potential condition, and then the parameters to monitor. And then submit that directly from the learning page and get immediate feedback. Now, that's an example of embedding a formative assessment. Again, the idea being expose your students as much as you possibly can to these NCLEX type questions before they take their practice exam. Once they're ready to take the exam, you can submit this full atomic assessment question. Again, this is the 85 question item type that comes for free with atomic assessments. And you'll notice that these question types are identical to what they're going to experience on the NCLEX exam. Here's an example of a matrix multiple select question, your standard true false, drag and drop question types, and then that bow tie type question that you've seen just before. What I also really love about atomic assessments is this image annotation question type that allows for that more authentic assessment. So now instead of asking a multiple choice question about a compound fracture, they can really test their knowledge and annotate this image or this X-ray to ensure they can read X-rays, read images, and we provide them with specific tools that allow them to make that process easy, whether it's on the desktop or the mobile app. I can draw lines, I can circle or scribble. If I'm trying to draw a much better circle than what I just did here, I can utilize this compass, change my color, and add text to say this is the compound fracture. And let's make that bigger. Great. Another question type that's hard to replicate currently in Canvas is that token highlight question type. So again, it's a lot more authentic to highlight the areas that I need to choose that show, the doctor's findings and the symptoms. So here I can highlight these questions and say, this is what I'm finding, and this is how I can tell they're withdrawing. And I can continuously go through this 85 question type until I reach the end here. So that's the student experience. You'll notice that it's all directly embedded in Canvas. I never have to open up a new link in order to assess the students. But let's take a look at what that process looks like from the faculty's perspective. And let's start with that formative assessment approach. So again, if I'm trying to enhance my Canvas pages and allow students to practice the NCLEX question types before they're actually required to take that practice exam, I can embed atomic assessments anywhere that utilizes the rich content editor. So here again is that example of that page that is very text heavy. And if I want to drop in a question right where it's applicable, I can do so. Here's an example where they're talking about bow tie type question. I'm going to select my atomic assessments through the LTI plugins. And from here, I can generate any question that I'd like to utilize, or if I want to just embed an assessment that I've already created, I can search and find it here. I'm going to place this 2-question NCLEX practice right within the page. Now, when you embed these questions directly into a learning page, you have the option of making these graded or ungraded. So again, if it's a simple formative assessment and I just want to make this practice with no grade, I can do so. Or if I wanted to make this a graded assignment, I can do that as well by having it create a gradebook entry, marking the number of points possible, and allowing it to automatically submit to the gradebook. I'm going to pause there. Any questions so far?
No, not yet, Chris. But if anybody has any questions, you can put them into, oh, I'm sorry. We do have some in the Q&A. with the exam, can you use Respondus lockdown?
Yes. So let's take a look at those settings. Here under our proctoring tab, you can choose to make this a proctored assignment. And from there, you'll notice that Respondus is an option. Also, if you utilize Proctorio, that's an option as well. But this ensures that you can proctor your assessments with Atomic Assessments, wherever they're located in Canvas.
Awesome. And then with the exam questions, are they leveled by blooms?
The exam questions, are they leveled by Bloom? So we're going to talk a little bit about the question generation in which you can choose the Bloom taxonomy. Did I say that correct?
Mhm.
Perfect. Cool.
All right. And
Now,
that's for now, but if you have any other questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat.
fantastic. So you'll notice that with atomic assessments, not only is the advantage here that you have more question types available, you can also really control the feedback, timing, the player settings that impact the student experience, providing hints and allowing them to check their answers. So at some point, there's a lot of configuration that you can choose here within your settings. But ultimately, you'll find that you have a specific preset that you like to save and deploy. And so what you can do is once you've saved the same settings, you can also save those as a template. And so if I just wanted to apply a specific preset and not have to review each of these question settings individually, I can make that very easy to do as well. All right. So that's the process of embedding an assessment directly into a learning page. Again, the page is just one place that you can embed an atomic assessments. If you wanted to create an announcement that sends notifications immediately to your students and have them answer a question that way, you can embed it anywhere that utilizes the rich content editor, including announcements, discussions, assignments, wherever you'd like to have those placed. Once it comes time to take that more summative assessment, you can also embed them directly within your modules. And I can do that by creating a new assignment. I'm going to go ahead and add that. And I can embed it directly into an assignment as well by using the submission type as an external tool and finding our atomic assessments. Again, I can create a question or create an assessment directly here, or choose existing assessments if I've already generated those elsewhere. Now, you'll notice here that there's only a select number of question types that I can create, but these are because these are my pin questions. Ultimately, depending on your subject matter, you probably will find that you're using the same, 5 to 7 question types over and over again. And so you can pin these questions to make them very easy to generate on the fly. Or if I wanted to show all the question types, you'll notice that we have, quite a few options, over 40 different question types to ensure that this assessment is working for your students. To show you the process of creating this image annotation question, this is an example where we say, find the fracture, annotate with your stylus, and so on. I can choose what tools we provide them when they annotate this image, and then I can upload this image here. To make it accessible, we also have more options that allow you to provide alt text, and I can just embed that right there. Oh, sorry, wrong button. All right, alt text, we're gonna just say it's a fracture. I can also choose which colors my students are given and really go into the weeds of the settings here. Let's go ahead and preview this. And again, you're gonna see exactly what the student experience looks like. So that's an example of generating a question on the fly, but ultimately we want to make it even easier for you to bring in question types that you've already created. And we'll also show you how you can import questions as well. So if I go into atomic assessments here, we can go into our content manager and import directly from Canvas new quizzes by uploading a QTI or common cartridge export here. Or if you've built the questions in classic quizzes, you can import them directly in here as well. Now, ultimately, if you're moving forward with atomic assessments, chances are you want to utilize some of the different question types, but this makes it easier for you to not have to start from scratch and just edit the questions you've already created. I can also have AI generate questions for me. And let's take a look at that process. So here, I can choose what kind of question types I want to use. In this case, let's choose a close drag and drop question. And I can even have it choose content that I've already created within my pages. So let me just show you how that's done here. So in this example, I've got a Canvas page on dosage calculations for medication. And rather than having this, question just generate information that may not be vetted, I can just grab materials that I know is vetted and sourced, and I can paste that directly in here. And I can say, let's write a question on calculation methods. We want to have it choose, the application level of Bloom's taxonomy. And we want to make it so that there are 4 blanks and 5 possible options. Let's have it generate that question for us. All right. So now you can see you can review the question composition, the various different possible responses, and it's already marking the correct answers. I can even generate more options, choose if this is ungraded or if it's graded, and can even provide hints and feedback if I chose to do so. So now you can see how you can generate a question from scratch. You can also see how you can import questions from Canvas quizzes, whether they're old quizzes or new quizzes. And then you can also see how you can build a question via AI. Ultimately, we want to make it easy for the students to practice the NCLEX or nursing assessments, but we also want to make it very easy for the faculty to generate these questions as well. All right.
Chris, in this example, is there a way to provide partial credit?
Absolutely. So I just exited out of that question, but just to show you how you can edit these questions, you can provide partial credit manually, or you can also make it so that you set multiple different correct alternate questions and mark how many those points are worth. On the more complex question types, these alternates might not be all known. And so having the ability to manually grade this within the speed grader is important as well. Any other questions I can answer?
Yes. Can you show creating a bow tie question?
Ooh, yeah, give me 1 minute. So ultimately, the first step would be to get an image of that bow tie. And then it's going to be a closed question or a question image drag and drop. And so let's, in this case, do an image labeled drag and drop. here I'm going to change this image to a bow tie type question. And then I can choose what these right answers are. So I'm just going to add some more. Sorry, these labels aren't great. And then here's where we select these right answers. Oh, first I gotta draw some more of these. And now I'm just gonna set, which order these are correct. That answer your question, Eric? Perfect. Now that's an example of generating that question on the fly. Since we provide 85 question item type, the other example is to just duplicate this question and rebuild it to change, some of those parameters to monitor or um, conditions to take. And so if you wanted to do that and utilize what we've already created, you can go into our content manager. You can find our bow tie question type, and you can just duplicate this question and edit this so that it's already built for you. Perfect. All right. So we've created a bow tie type question from scratch. Again, you can also just duplicate these questions if you wanted to make that process even easier. And that will take this entire formatting in these, case studies if you wanted to utilize the structure that we've created. To show you the grading process in atomic assessments, this is also one of my favorite parts because I know how passionate Canvas users are about the speed grader. And atomic assessments utilizes the speed grader to make grading and to alter grades if necessary very easy. And so in this case, I'm going to just grade this within the speed grader. Let's choose Chris student. And if I wanted to manually change some of these grades, I can do so. With that question 2, we not only in the image annotation question type do you get to see a screenshot of how they filled this out, but you can also see a playback to see exactly how they answer that question. Which again, if this was a bit more complex, sometimes it's helpful to watch a playback to see the student's thought process to provide them a better grade or to just better understand how they're doing on each assessment. You also have the media rich tools available in the speed grader as well. So if I wanted to upload video feedback, I could do so even within atomic assessments. And then the last piece to show you is the reporting capabilities we have with atomic assessments. So not only can you view each individual grades, but you also have reports that are available to you. And this one might not be very exciting since we have low student submission. So let me just grab an atomic assessments that have a bit more data here. Bear with me one second.
And also, Chris, while you're working on that, does the AI generator have an item difficulty setting?
Yes, you can choose not only the difficulty, you can also choose, which grade. So if it is a higher level grade, you can increase that, to college level difficulty. So yeah, you get to choose not only the source material, but how difficult and what kind of question type it is.
Awesome, thanks.
All right, so to take a look at the reports, you can see exactly, who has completed the assignment, where they're at within the process. This will take you into the speed grader in case I needed to change any of these grades. If I wanted to review each of these responses and how students have submitted each of those, I can look at a rundown of each of the students' name and who's got it correct and who has not, along with our question scores and stats to see exactly how long it took each of them to answer these questions. And one of my favorite things, along with the statistics on each question types, is the ability to align with outcomes. So if you wanted to see how each students are performing on the various different outcomes you've assigned to each question, you can see a rundown to see where each student's mastery is on any given outcome on the question level. All right, I know that we're running out of time here. We have about 2 minutes left, so I just want to ensure that I leave this time to answer any additional questions. Have I missed anything, Lauren?
Sorry, I was on mute. I don't think so. If there's any other questions, please let us know. Oh, we have another question. Back to our developed exam of 85 questions. How is it leveled according to Bloom's?
So the way that you align those is through our tagging system. So if we go back into that NCLEX example, each of these questions have these tagging systems, and then you can apply the Bloom's taxonomy to the various different question types. So you'll notice that in this case, we've done them by certain outcomes, but if you did want to align those to Bloom's, you certainly could do so. Great. Well, thank you all for joining this Lunch and Learn. Hopefully you learned how atomic assessments can extend your assessment capabilities to offer all of the question types that are available on the NCLEX Next Gen exam, along with additional question types that your faculty may be asking for, and also configure the learning experience by embedding assessments in pages to create that formative assessment approach, and also that high stakes exam. Lauren will be following up with the recording to this webinar, and we'll be reaching out to see if there's any additional questions. But again, appreciate your time.